Alright guys, so I feel like it's time that I update my top 5 truly wireless earbuds under $50. It seems like the budget realm of earbuds just keep getting better and better, so I want to try to keep this list as updated as possible. And if you guys are familiar with my videos in the past, this is not going to be full-on reviews of each earbud. If you are interested in checking those out, there will be links in the description. Now, one thing I do want to say right off the bat about all of these earbuds is all of them have Bluetooth 5.0. All of them can be used independently, and then all of them have a USB-C cable when it comes to charging. So that way I don't have to say that for each earbud. But let's go ahead and jump into number 5. Number 5 on the list is the EarFun Free. Now this is a pair that comes in at $50. I originally reviewed them when they were on Indiegogo, and then throughout time they actually decided to upgrade some of the specs and some of the features, and they still kept the price down at $50, which makes these an impressive value. And some of those features is these have an IPX7 waterproof rating, so if you're somebody that likes to go out and about and use your earbuds, you don't have to worry if it rains, you don't have to worry if they fall into water, and this just makes you have a little bit of peace of mind using them out and about. Now, as far as the battery life on here, you're getting 6 hours on the earbuds by themselves with a total of 24 hours total using the case. Now, the big bonus here is the case is also a Qi wireless charging case, so you can just come in, drop it on any wireless charger, and it will start charging. Now, another huge plus in my opinion is these use button controls, and a huge plus here is they allow you to control everything. So you have your play, pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards, and even volume control. And volume control is one of those things that not all companies have on their earbuds, so I'm happy that the EarFun Free does. Now, when it comes to the sound of these, they are using a graphene driver, but they are a very detailed pair of earbuds. The bass has plenty of punch to it, but it's a tighter, more accurate bass. It doesn't have that subwoofer like loose feel to it. The mids are pushed very forward, so you're hearing a lot of details in vocals, and the treble is also pushed forward, not necessarily where it's too harsh, but it is pretty bright, which is just bringing out a lot of details when you're listening to music. And this is one of those pairs that just kind of sounds good no matter what genre you're using them on, and that's what puts the EarFun Free in at number 5. So number 4 on the list is the Bowmaker Sci-Fi 2. Now this is a pair that retails for $45, and in fact right now on Amazon with their coupon you can pick them up for only $35. And I'm going to go ahead and say this now, that's a hell of a deal considering all that you're getting. Now these use an LDS antenna, which keeps these having a very solid connection, so you don't have to worry about dropouts or anything like that. And this is another pair that has an IPX7 rating, so it's completely waterproof and easily a pair that you can go out and about and you just don't have to worry. Now, as far as the battery life on here, this is another thing that's very impressive because the battery life on the earbuds, you're going to get around 7 hours, where you're going to get around 37 hours total using the case. And another bonus is if you happen to pick the earbuds up and they are dead, a quick 10-minute charge will get you an hour's worth of use. Now, as far as the controls on the earbuds, these do have touch controls, but I'm happy to say that they give you control over everything. And so when it comes to the sound on these are very boosted. Now the bass is definitely boosted. This one does have more of a subwoofer feel. You can feel a little bit of rumble when it comes to the bass. It is kind of warm overall, but the mids and the highs are still clean and detailed. So it doesn't have the bass just kind of coming in and destroying your mids and highs. So being able to pick up the Bowmaker Sci-Fi 2s right now for only $35 makes these a hell of a deal. Alright, so number 3 on the list is the MPOW M30 Plus. Now this is a pair that is $40 and has some very impressive specs. Now this one's impressive because of its battery life and because of the case's ability to be able to be used as a power bank. So you can plug in your phone or your tablet or whatever into the case and it will allow it to start charging that way. Now the battery life on the earbuds you can get around 5 hours, where with the charging case having that 2600 milliamp battery, you can squeeze out 100 hours total. And as far as the IP rating on these have an IPX 8 rating. So you can just go out and use these however you want, and you just don't have to worry about anything. If you drop them into water and they hit the bottom of a pool, you can go down and get them and they're going to be fine. Now, one of the huge pluses about using these is they have wingtips. So this is also a pair that if you're going to use them jogging or running or going to the gym, those wingtips keep them in very nicely, and they're also extremely comfortable. So it's easily a pair that you can use doing whatever you need to do, and you don't have to worry about them falling out. Now, as far as the controls on the earbuds, again, this is a pair that has touch controls, and again, this is a pair that allows you to control everything. Now, as far as the sound on the M30 Plus, these have extremely high volume output, so you guys that like to turn your earbuds a little bit louder, you can do that with these, and the bass has a lot of impact. Now, I am kind of a bass head, so I like to feel the impact of bass, and these just didn't disappoint. Now, the mids are also nice and forward, so male and female vocals had a lot of detail. It never felt like they got drowned out in the mix, and the treble was also very detailed as well. Now, this is not a treble that has a very bright or harsh sound. It has more of a natural tone to it, and I feel like it just blended well with the mids and the lows. And that's what puts the MPOW M30 Plus in at number 3. So number 2 on the list is the Soundcore Life Dot 2. Now, this is a pair that comes in at $49, and on top of having very dynamic sound, it also comes in with some pretty impressive specs. You get 8 hours on the earbuds themselves with 100 hours total using the case. Now, they also have a fast charge feature where a 10-minute charge will get you an hour and a half worth of use. And I always just find that fast charge comes in handy because there are times where you forget to charge your earbuds and you don't want to have to wait an hour or 2 hours to be able to use your earbuds. Now, as far as the IP rating, these do come in rated at IPX5, so these are not waterproof like a lot of the other earbuds on the list, but they are still water resistant. So as far as rain, or if you're somebody that sweats heavily, you'll be fine. Just make sure you don't submerge these into water. Now, this is another pair on the list that uses the wingtips so that they're able to just stay in your ears a lot more stable. You just don't have to worry, especially if you're somebody that likes to use these while doing any kind of outdoor activities, or if you just like to leave them in while you're at work during a full day. They just stay in and you just don't have to worry about them. Now, as far as the controls on these, this is where it's a little bit different than the other ones. They do use touch controls, but for some reason, they don't give you the ability to go back to the previous track, and there's no volume control. So that is definitely a huge negative when it comes to these. But the big positive to these, and my main reason for buying any earbud, is the sound. The sound is extremely rich with a ton of kick when it comes to the bass. This is a very bass heavy earbud, but luckily the bass doesn't come in and destroy the mids and the highs. I still felt like the mids had really nice presence. There was a lot of detail in the treble. They still kind of tuned it up a little bit to try to counterbalance that boomy bass, and so it just makes for a very dynamic, rich sounding earbud. And that's why these Soundcore Life Dot 2s come in at number 2. So number 1 on the list is the SounPEATS Truengine III SE. Now, this pair comes in at $49, and right now on Amazon with the coupon, you can pick it up for $45. Now, SounPEATS is one of those companies that I can tell focuses on giving you a lot for your money, and I easily could have filled number 1 all the way to number 5 with SounPEATS products. But what I wanted to do with this list is only pick one earbud from each company so that my list just didn't include a lot of the same earbuds from the same company. And I feel like the Truengine III SE is the best that SounPEATS has to offer, and in fact, I think it's the best budget earbud out there. Now, as far as what makes these impressive, they have dual dynamic drivers, and they also have aptX playback. So the connection on these are solid. The dual dynamic drivers is just bringing some really impressive sound. They are IPX5 water resistant, so they are not waterproof, but again, it's a pair that if you do go out and it starts to rain, or again, if they get splashed on, they're going to be okay. Now, as far as the battery life on these, you're going to get 6.5 hours on the earbuds themselves with around 30 hours total on the case. Now, while these don't have the most impressive battery life compared to the other ones on the list, I think having that kind of battery life mixed with dual dynamic drivers, which is going to pull a little bit more power, is what makes these so impressive. Now, as far as the controls on here, they do have touch controls, and I'm happy to say that they allow you to control everything. So what makes these the number one out of all of the others comes down to the sound. The sound is the most impressive out of all of these on the list. I would even put these up against earbuds that are $100 to $150. I just think they're bringing something very impressive to the table, and those dual dynamic drivers are doing a lot to give you the most bang for your buck. So you have a lot of impact when it comes to bass. You have really nice tuned up treble. There's a lot of details and instruments. You're just hearing a lot of things. It does have a slightly warm sound, but it sounds extremely natural. It doesn't sound like a lot of things are overemphasized, but you can tell it's not trying to sound very flat. You can feel a lot of impact when it comes to the bass. You can hear a lot of details in the vocals because the mids are nice and forward. And then, like I said, the details that the treble are bringing out are nice and clean. And it's just a very fun earbud to listen to. And I like to use it because it sounds great with all genres. And another huge plus is they're the most open sounding earbud compared to the rest of the ones on the list. And so the SounPEATS Truengine III SEs come in at number 1. Now, I'm one of those that I think any of these on this list, if you pick them up, you're more than going to get your money's worth. And I think these earbuds are giving larger companies something to think about when they're charging $150 to $200 and even more for their earbuds, because they're going to have to offer a lot to compete with what some of these other earbuds are offering for a lot less money. But guys, I want to thank you so much for checking out this video, and thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.